but we don't seem to be having really robust conversations about what's happening over there. So, look, I don't believe that you have J.D. Vance being afraid of Tim Walz, as Tim Walz has suggested. I think that Republicans are, in some ways, admitting the quiet part out loud. We had an entire convention setting the table to beat a man who is no longer in the race. And I think out of an abundance of caution, you're seeing Republicans waiting to figure out where we'll debate, who's going to be on that debate stage. And ultimately, I think, in the end, as we've discussed many times at this table, the VP is not why people vote. The VP can be a reason why people don't vote.
But do you think that it's a sign that the Republicans and the Trump campaign, they are not strategically handling this well, that we're even having a conversation about what J.D. Vance is up to?
Look, I think the Republican Party and many people in the Republican Party have acknowledged the fact that for whatever reason we were caught flat-footed by this substitution, if for no other reason that this is the first time in a very long time that you have an incumbent dropping out of the race. And it was not an early in the primary, I shall not accept, nor will I seek the nomination. It was after all the voting was done, oh, by the way, we're getting out of the race. And so it was unprecedented. I think that in many ways there has been this false start. But ultimately, I think with the advancing of Tim Walz as the vice presidential choice, now heading into convention, at some point, this honeymoon has to end.
No, I wanted to ask Joe, is he going to be on the debate stage with Governor Walz, or is he getting replaced by Donald Trump?
No, he'll be on the debate stage.
He's going to make it.
He'll make it through.
I wouldn't underestimate any either.
Where
he's very
things stand.
I got the under on that.
He's a good communicator.
I see Trump pulling him and firing him after the Democratic National Convention.
So I don't know if he's going to do that or not, but can we? Okay.
Just throwing that out there, because if it happens, I don't want anybody to be surprised.
Yeah.
Just throwing it out.
I'll tell you this, I am confident he has humored that, whether it will happen or not, but we're very familiar with that.
I don't want to act like because Joe Biden is not at the top of the ticket that Republicans didn't have ample time to vet J.D. Vance. Donald Trump walked through the primary as though he wouldn't even debate his opponents, as though he was the presumptive nominee for the entire time. That whole time, he had had the opportunity to vet vice presidents. But let's also, if we want to talk about vice presidents, you brought up Mike Pence. The reason why he even had to vet somebody is because his own vice president won't run with him again. He doesn't want him to run because he wanted him to overturn the election results and have them.
They want to kill the guy.
Perhaps.
So I'll leave that out.
Maybe people should just back away from this VP debate, because Republicans will get the short end of that stick. And then finally, on J.D. Vance not debating, he hadn't even accepted Kamala Harris's invite to debate. He was like, let me check the rules. Let me do. So if he's a great communicator, show up.
J.D. Vance actually might be the only person on the ticket right now actually making a coherent case for a Trump second term. All these controversies aside, he is doing interviews, he's speaking coherently, he's kind of staying on message. That is also true.
Yes, and I think what happened was, with Biden as the presumptive nominee, Trump got whoever he wanted, and he very much sees Vance as a continuation of his legacy, this younger person to carry the MAGA torch forward. And now it's a controversial person, and he's not ahead in the polls anymore. And so maybe there is some regret among Republicans or even among the Trump team, but Vance is very well prepared. He really knows his stuff. I would not count him out in a debate setting against Walz.
Just quickly here, J.D. Vance was picked because they thought he would be a good matchup as a vice presidential choice against Kamala Harris, and because President Trump from 2016 to 2020 eroded somewhere around 8% of white men without a college degree. And so if you're trying to do a re-rack of the 2020 election, how do you shore up that base and make sure you have a path with the victory? In my humble opinion, I think that was the calculus, along with all the other whispering in the ear or whoever the last person in the room was.
He wasn't picked because he could assume the presidency if Donald Trump were something.
I'm talking politically. Politically speaking.
Do you think he was the best choice?
So Anthony, have you said that you think Trump is going to replace him? I mean, is that just a hunch, or?
Well, I know his personality, and so you saying that he's doing a good job on the stump at explaining the Trump message hurts J.D. Vance. Maggie Haberman saying that hurts J.D. Vance because he's such a narcissist. He's got to do this 100% on his own. He would have picked Nikki Haley if he wanted somebody to be president and he wanted somebody to help him on the ticket. He doesn't want any help on the ticket. He wants to carry the entire thing himself to prove to the world that he did it on his own. So now you're complimenting J.D. Vance. If he's watching your show, he's stopping on your show, you don't like that. He wants J.D. Vance to be in the back seat of the bus, but the 7th bus, while he's driving the first bus.
But the flip side of that, which
that's how he works. That's what he thinks.
You're spot on about that, but there's also the scapegoat factor. If he keeps trailing behind Kamala Harris, it's either going to be his top advisors that are let go or there's going to be a shuffle. That is just fundamentally how he works. It can't be purely his fault.
Everyone, hang on, hang tight. We've got more ahead.